I want to welcome everyone to the new Banana Republic of the United States of America. This is Tim, let's get off my lawn, the mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. Oh, Senile Joe is at it again. This time, before he leaves, he wants to make sure that this is the best Banana Republic the United States of America could ever possibly be. We have a lame duck president who is probably cognitively in decline, who may not even know what day it is, who needs his handlers to help him do everything, who no longer can walk up the steps on Air Force One. He has to go to the back of the plane to walk up those smaller flights of stairs, needs to wear special shoes just so he can make it across the front lawn. If you take a look at him, he has no clue what's going on in this world, but he is going to go after and try to establish new reforms for the Supreme Court. He had an op-ed came out today, and he's going to have a speech today, and he's going to delve more into these idiocies that he's rocketing towards. And this address is going to be at the LBJ Presidential Library in Austin, Texas today. Of course, that is going to be marking the 60th anniversary of the excuse me, I can't even talk this morning. It's way early for me. The Civil Rights Act. Joe is calling for, I love this. Hold on. Let's all just drink some coffee, man, because it's the best coffee around, man, because that's why we're in the Banana Republic of America. That was a really bad Jamaican accent. Sorry if I offended anyone, and I don't really care if I did, because you know what? I was watching some 80s movies the other day, and the lack of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the lack of sensitivity was just astounding. And it was great. It was funny. It was fun to watch. Then I watched the opening ceremony of the Olympics and saw that shit show. And they say, well, you know what? We weren't really mocking any religion, even though we were mocking Christianity. And then the organizers of that opening ceremony, the LBGQ 417 the 19th Power Community, comes out and says, you know what? We didn't go far enough. We're here, and people need to know it. Honestly, no one really fucking cares. You're the only one that seems to have this thought process that we care. I don't care what you do in the bedroom. I don't care who you marry. I don't care. And I think the majority of the country doesn't care, but you need to be in the spotlight by saying, we're here and we're not going anywhere. Well, you know what? No one fucking cares if you go anywhere. Don't go away mad. Just go away. But Joe is calling to do away with lifetime appointments to the court. He says Congress should have passed legislation to establish a system which a sitting president would be able to appoint a justice every 2 years to spend 18 years in service on the court. He argues term limits would help ensure court membership changes with some regularity and add some measures of predictability to the nomination process. Well, we need to add some predictability. Oh, Joe, what the fuck were we thinking, Joe? We need to have some predictability. He also wants Congress to pass legislation establishing a court code of ethics that will require justices to disclose gifts, refrain from public, let's read this again, refrain from political activities, and recuse themselves from cases in which their spouses have financials or other conflicts of interest. Shouldn't we do that with the Congress and Senate? Shouldn't Nancy Pelosi be excusing herself from everything because her husband is the greatest trader in the world? He's phenomenal. He has never had a trade that didn't go his way. And it's always amazing that it always kind of coincides with legislation. Does Nancy have an inside track on some information that she's using? Does Nancy, during COVID, go to a salon and not wear a mask and do all these things that other people can't do? Is she above the law? No. No. Biden is also calling for Congress to pass a legislation establishing a court code of ethics. We've already said that. He's also calling for them to pass a constitutional amendment reversing the Supreme Court recent landmark immunity ruling that determines former presidents have broad immunity from prosecution. This is what kills me. Read the fucking law. Not even the law. Read the outcome of that case. Read what it actually says. It says he can't be held prosecuted for things that he did as president while president. Read the ruling. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Read the ruling. Oh my God, am I turning into Joe Biden? That's a scary fucking thought. I need some coffee. Who put rum in this coffee at 7:30 in the morning? It wasn't me. The decision, of course, extends from the Washington criminal case on Trump, where he's charged with a plot to overturn the 2020 election. January 6th is really cracking me up lately. you had these rioters, and that's what they were. They were rioters. The January 6 people were the nicest rioters inside that building I've ever seen rioters. How do you have rioters that do not go outside the velvet ropes when they're walking through the halls of Congress? They don't go through past the velvet ropes because you want to know what? That would be against the law. But you have these rioters who you have these 3 people who attacked police officers. And what happened? All charges were dropped. We only have video of this, but you dropped all charges. But for some reason, the Democrats are the rule of law. You must follow the law. They're also talking about everything with Clarence Thomas and Samuel. It's just one of these things that when rulings don't go the way of the Democrats are like a petulant child. When rulings don't go their way, it's we must break the system and change everything. When they go their way, it's because of the fact that that's just the way it should be. And everyone's talking about this is about Roe v. Wade. Well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the champion of the liberal left, literally came out and said before she passed away that decision was an overreach of the Supreme Court. It should be held at the state level, and they should never even have taken up the case. If you take a look at the way the case was structured. Wow. But we don't want to talk about that. You want to know why? Because that's going to be a secret. The last time Congress ratified an amendment to the Constitution was 32 years ago. It was the 27th Amendment, which was ratified in 1992. States that the Congress can pass and change bills. I forgot what it was about. I actually forgot what it was about. I wrote it down here and I forgot. Hold on, let me see where I wrote it down. Congress can pass a bill changing the pay of members of the House and the Senate, but such changes wouldn't take effect until the next November elections are held. Well, that's a good law. That's a good law to pass. That seems like that's very very apropos for the Congress and the Senate, the House and the Senate. Okay. This is just another Democratic power grab. This is to ensure that they think that Trump will win. So the only way that they can stop him is by tilting the tiers of justice. We have a 3-tier justice system, of course. We have the executive branch, and then we have the House and the Senate. Then technically we also have 4 because you also have the Supreme Court. It's all about checks and balances for our legal system, not even for our legal system, but just for our democratic system. It's all about checks and balances. So one party cannot turn into a banana republic and all of a sudden turn around and say, you know what? We need to change all these laws because they're not going our way. And that's all this is. People need to be in fear of what is going on right now. And I kept saying that I wanted to make this channel more about a non-political statement. I wanted to have this channel be more of, the Gen X having some fun. But it's turning into this political statement because of the fact that there's just so much going on politically right now that it's a supercharged environment that if we don't watch what we're doing, if we don't see what's going on, we are already losing our powers as a nation. You are already losing your powers as an individual. It's no longer about the individual. It's no longer about the United States of America. It's now about the collective. Kamala Harris is one of the most, she makes Bernie Sanders look like Ronald Reagan. This is the same person that wants to have a path to citizenship for all these illegal immigrants. This is a person that wants to give health care to illegal immigrants. This is a person that is going after your education system. This is a person that wants to change the corporate tax rate to 35%. This is a person who just wants to make this a left-leaning country, almost not even past. You are going to go past socialism into communism. And they're already trying to whitewash her history. All these things that she has said, all these crazy, they talk about J.D. Vance being crazy. J.D. Vance has probably said some stuff. Trump has said some stuff. But if you actually look at the cat lady comment and look at it in context and its entirety, it actually makes kind of sense. I'm not a fan of J.D. Vance. I think J.D. Vance was the wrong pick. But it makes sense because I've said this before, especially with AOC. I don't want a 27-year-old who has never owned a house, who doesn't have any kids, who isn't married, telling me what I should do with my kids. I don't. It's the same thing with Kamala Harris. Yes, she has the daughter, but of course that's her stepdaughter. Again, there's another person that doesn't have any skin in the game telling me how I should run my family. It was just like when Hillary Clinton came out and said, well, you need a village to raise a child. No, it's my child. Is the village going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning when my child is screaming because he or she is sick? Is the village going to wake up every morning to take that child to school? Is the village going is the village going to sit there and the collective going to sit there and clothe my child and feed my child and teach them right from wrong? Or no, are you going to indoctrinate them into a system, a political system, which more fits your will so you can win an election and stay in power? This is all about a power grab. That's all this is about. And we are moving so far to the left on some of these policies. They could try to make Kamala look like a centrist. They can. Centralist, excuse me. They could do everything you want, but the video is still there. The tape is still there, but you need to be smart enough to go out there and fucking look at it for yourself. You need to see it. A leopard does not change its spots. Kamala is a liar. Kamala got a job by sleeping with old Willie. Kamala is a person that is not for this country. Kamala is a person who's for herself. Kamala is a person that's campaign is going to run on, you need to follow me. This has an Obama vibe. Why? Because she's black and Indian? All they can do is play identity politics. That's all the left can do. That is what the left is good at. Because when you go up against the issues, when you go up against inflation, when you go up against stagflation, when you go up against the open border policy, when you go up against, I love it, the GDP was up 2.5% this quarter. Woohoo! Should be around 4. But the problem is this, and people don't understand, is that's not the revised number. Another month and a half later, we'll have the revised number, and it'll be like 0.09. Because the government always puts out that first number, then 90 days later, we're going to put out a revised number because we were off a little bit. Wake up. See what this is. And I know people, I'm praying to God that, except for Gen Z, that people are smart enough to understand this. Gen Z got bamboozled by we're going to forgive all student loans. You're not forgiving all student loans. All you're doing is adding to the debt. You're transferring debt. I went to school. I worked 2 full-time jobs to pay back my student loans, but I paid them back on my own. Figure this out, people. Be smart. Be intelligent. Do your own research. We're going to have a lot of videos coming up in the next couple of days. I want to thank everyone who's been following us on Rumble and YouTube and always on the podcast. And don't forget this, the truth shall always set you free. This is Tim. Let's get off my lawn. The Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. Coming from the Banana Republic of America. And I'm out of here.